Hi, everybody. I'm eating a French fry from McDonald's.
Cold or is it like still semi-warm?
No, it's still semi-warm. Dude, like, Uber Eats, the best place to get from Uber Eats is McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Like, their packaging is, like, perfect. Their ordering is spot on. Like, everything else just screws up your orders. McDonald's is, like, crappy food, but, like, they know how to handle Uber Eats. They, like, evolved
Mm.
perfectly for this.
Do you want to just intro off the McDonald's talk?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Hello everyone. I'm
Hi.
Thomas, aka MrWartburg. That's Patrick, aka Mr. Fusion.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Hope
And
you
this
enjoyed your McDonald's.
and this is the Wartburg and Fusion Entertainment Review. It's time for episode number 44. We're gonna be talking about it's like whether or not it's Morbin time and or is corporate gaslighting good? Maybe. Shrug emoji? When it's the corporations getting gaslit, I'm all for it. Spoiler alert. We're gonna talk Top Gun, little Top Gun lawsuit news, The
Yep.
Boys, season 3, episodes 1 through 3, and some trailers that I know Fusion was checking out from Netflix's Geeked Week. And of course, we are live over at twitch.tv/Mr. Wartburg. Or of course, Chris just popped in the chat, and we live banter with our chat throughout the show. So head over there, drop a follow, maybe a subscription. I have a new laser eyes emoji from The Boys because I found the one that didn't have a background with the baby eyes from season 1. That's now in my chat if anyone wants to use it. I'm pretty sure Chris can now as an animated emoji.
What's the audio? Is it where
Oh,
what
there's
you're
no
saying?
audio to it.
Oh, God. You have to have.
It's just the emoji for the
Okay.
chat.
I was gonna say, okay, the emoji. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
there goes Chris. He's got it.
I thought it was a stream anime. I was thinking stream animation because you have to have the audio of
Oh,
that was fucking diabolical.
that's going to be my next alert package is going to be The Boys. It's currently
Right.
Supernatural, which I mean it's the classic.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
kind of want to change it up and go with The Boys because there's so many great moments of Carl Urban being awesome. Dude, no, not just The Boys. All Carl Urban gifts. Call back to last week's podcast.
Fall back.
Yes, all Carl Urban. We get Bones, we get Dread, we get Aomer, we get uh
Billy
Scourge,
Butcher.
and we get
Scourge.
Billy Butcher, and we get his character from Almost Human, the Fox show that should never have been canceled. I'm just saying, it'd be pretty cool.
Well, and if you didn't go back and listen, what 2 podcasts ago now? Is that where we were? Where we talked about Obi-Wan? Was it 2 podcasts or
Yes,
was it Stranger Things after? So remember the idea of we could do season 2 of Obi-Wan Kenobi, make it an anthology, and he be the long lost Obi-Wan brother, the Kenobi brother that we don't know about, and he's like a scavenger or a raider or something, and just that would be a good story, man.
I'd
One
be
season
game.
of that, kind of like True Detective, but Obi-Wan, like
Yeah,
the Kenobi series.
anything that gets me more Carl Urban, I'm game for. Okay, Carl Urban, Star Wars.
Let's jump into it. It's Morbin time. Let's do
It
this.
is indeed Morbin time, or perhaps maybe it's not. Of course, the internet gaslit one of the biggest corporations in movie making into releasing a critical failure of a movie, Morbius, which released on April 1st, somehow not an April Fool's joke. And they put it back out in 1,000 theaters over the weekend, of course, after a huge wave of pop culture memes of people just clearly dunking on the fact that never saw the movie, going, I hear he shows up and says it's Morbin time. And that
Yeah.
was basically the meme, right? And it somehow took off. And it was a joke about how people had not been watching the movie. They had not seen the movie. They could not prove that the character doesn't say this line. And Sony was like, all press is good press in their eyes. Put it out in 1,000 theaters and made a grand total of $85 per theater. 85, 2 digits per theater.
Yep. So
Absolutely insane.
just think about this, guys. I went to go watch Top Gun Maverick today. I spent $13 on the ticket, and I spent $20 on soda and drink. So I pretty close to half of a theater for Morbius this past weekend was just my one visit to watch this afternoon. A matinee, mind you.
Yeah, what is the actual national average ticket price?
I think someone said it's close to like somewhere between $8 and $9 right now.
Okay,
I
so
think
it's basically 8 to 9 people per theater
yeah, I think
went and
someone
saw
said
this
that.
movie.
Yeah,
That's awful.
that's really bad.
That's absurd.
You're forgetting a little piece here too. Remember, a week ago, not only did the internet like just keep jumping on this Morbin Time thing, but Jared Leto thought, let's go ahead and let's make it
I will
funnier.
say, I think he knew it was a joke, and I think he knows the movie sucks because the author of
Yeah.
that script is his screenwriting persona for the 30 Seconds to Mars videos. Like, isn't that the name of the band he was in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
30 seconds to
like,
Mars.
and he wrote the music videos, and that was his screenwriting like pen name. So it was like he knows it's a fucking joke. I'll give him this. He's not that stupid. He's a complete asshole person I'd never want to work with in movie production.
Now,
But
if he had said on this, if he had written Alan Smithy on the script, I probably would have been like, okay, he's all in on it. Because if you don't know, Alan Smithy is a pseudo that many people in Hollywood use when they don't want to be like attached to a project, but they're paid to write. They cash the check, they put Alan Smithy down. It's an old name. Go look it up. It's
yeah, that's
crazy.
true.
Some of the people that used it.
Yeah,
So had you like fully gone? Because he seems like the type of guy that would have done that, right?
true.
But he used his 30-second pen name. Okay, that's fine. But I just thought it was kind of funny because when we both saw that on Twitter, we were like, this is kind of silly. And then a couple days later, Sony's like, we're gonna re-release Morbius, and of course the internet was like, guys, you see, this is why we can't do this kind of stuff. And I'm like, guys, keep doing it because
Oh,
no one's gonna go.
everybody went and said that exact thing of,
Yeah.
and now everybody hit the door.
Yep,
Don't go in,
exactly.
and we're out. And that is how fast the dime turned on Sony, and they got absolutely pantsed in front of everyone. And you gotta
Oh
love it.
man.
You love to see it.
Yeah, we're not fans of the old crusty Hollywood execs. You and I are both not fans. We're not fans because I mean, it's nothing new how they treat people. Say what you want about Disney and Marvel, but they're a little cooler to work with compared to the old school out there.
Yeah, as
Let's
long
be
as you're not
real.
an asshole.
Others, yeah, Paramount and Sony. But yeah, it was great to see that. When I saw that number come Monday morning, I just you know ah, I couldn't help but just laugh my ass off. So
Yeah,
great.
it was the perfect cap on a perfect dumb internet joke.
Yeah.
Like, it will go down as one of the greatest internet meme moments of all time,
Well,
just because of the financial fallout.
there was at least one executive that when they were talking about this re-releasing it, I'm sure the room was like a little apprehensive. There was that one guy in the back with
Who's like,
mustard on
this is
his
stupid.
tie. No, 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 no.
Oh,
There was
he
one
was all
that's
in. Yeah,
yeah, the one guy that was all in was like, guys, do you not remember Rebecca Black? She made like $1 million off that stupid song and she was 13. And then they were like, okay, yeah, all right, let's go. Let's do it. You're right. You mean any press is good press, right? No, no, it's not. Not in this age. Not in the meme age, guys. Any press is not covefe. That's a perfect example of not bad press is still good press.
that
No,
or
it's not.
pissing off any K-pop stands. Like,
Yeah,
good
exactly.
luck.
Oh man.
You
Yeah.
know.
Remember
So
remember about a decade ago, that used to be the Bieber moms, but they weren't terrifying. K-pop stands are
they
terrifying.
will destroy your entire
They will
internet
fuck your
platform.
world. Yeah, they will fuck your world. Oh my gosh. Uh,
Yeah,
and of course, the Star Wars racist fan base out there is starting to give
they
them a run
think
for
they're
their money.
that powerful.
They think they're powerful. Yeah,
K-pop
exactly.
stands actually are that powerful,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because they're
But it
Gen
was
Z that gets it.
good stuff, man. I love it. I love it, man. Yeah. Anything to kind of just make studio execs look bad, and that made them look really really bad, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, it was
Because
a fun story to follow over the weekend. I'll definitely say that for sure.
I'm sure they are while they were planning the re-release, another exec was having them commission a script for a Morbius 2.
Oh, for sure,
That was happening.
unquestionable.
Now it's like they have to completely just like
Yeah, that is
bury their heads in
completely
sand.
on the back burner. Well, you know what's not on the back burner? Top Gun Maverick. Fusion, I
Yes.
believe you saw that today, and your exact quote was, "And I follow." What did you say on in Discord? I should have
Uh,
had this up. I'm
fuck,
sorry.
fucking incredible. Or that was
Hang on. Let me go to the chat.
go to the chat, the waiver chat,
Holy
if you will.
fuck, that movie was incredible.
Yes, yes, it was. I meant every word of that. Didn't even misspell it. I thought that well thought out message that I typed up to you. Yeah, man. I sat down with my soda and my little small popcorn and caught a matinee. I think there was like two other people in the theater, and I watched the original in 1986 when I was what, like 6 or 7 years old. So, man, that was an okay movie. This was great,
I
great
gotta
movie.
give a shout out to our live Twitch chat right now.
Go for it.
No back burner, all afterburner.
Nice.
Banger of a Twitch chat. That's some banger ass shit there, Chris. And if, of course, you want to hang out with cool people like Chris, you should head over to twitch.tv/MrWartburg. Link is in our YouTube description if you're watching the video over there. And of course, you can peruse your way over to Twitch. If you're listening on an audio feed, I wouldn't want you to do any searching when you're in your car. That'd be stupid. Don't do that. Go to Twitch when you have time. Twitch.tv/MrWartburg when we go live. This month's a little condensed. This is the third episode in like 5 days.
Yep.
But it's going to be a good one because we get to talk more about Top Gun Maverick. Oh my God, what a movie.
Okay, you said this before I went to go watch it. You said one of the best third acts I've ever seen in an action movie. And I'm going to back you up on this. I never thought I would say a Top Gun movie, a Top Gun sequel, 40 years later, would be one of the best action movies I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, like it puts the Mission Impossible movies, it gives them a run. Those last 4 Mission Impossible movies have just been like all-timers.
Yeah.
In terms of that popcorn action movie.
Yeah.
Less slick and just more over the top. Like John Wick is a slick action movie. Mission Impossible is an over-the-top action movie. Like a James Bond. Like a fun James Bond. This movie kind of fits almost in that slot where it's pure fun and not so much like slick and like cool camera tricks and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And yet it almost kind of does what John Wick does for action movies with planes in a weird way when you think about it. Because like those long takes, right, that you like see everything. Yeah. You get a perfect picture of what is happening in the air in your head because of the editing and the shots in this movie. That is what makes this stand so far head and shoulders above the original.
Yeah.
It's just, number one, the technology's come a long way. Editing and filmmaking process has come so much farther since then. And like Chris says in chat, it's basically jet porn. That's Top Gun Maverick. And if that doesn't get your butt in the theater, I don't know what will. It's fucking F-15 jet porn. It's perfect. It's incredible. Dude, for real. Spoilers here. It's now been out 2 weeks.
Yep.
When Maverick shows up for essentially their Top Gun trench run and just bangs it out 15 seconds faster than he's even getting the recruits to do, plus time, does it in better time. That entire moment of just 2 minutes, 15 seconds, everyone in the room, it's just stone quiet in the room that the cast is in. You could just see like, oh fuck, he's gonna do it. Like they believe it the second he shows up. And it's just from that moment on when he drops into the thing and he's like, you're not scheduled for the course. Yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. From that moment, the movie doesn't stop. It's 40 minutes of just pure cinematic perfection, of just escalation. The right little bit of comedic undercut. More escalation. More comedic undercut. Escalation to the absolute hilt of going too far. And then it throttles back down, fade to black. Epic is the only word I've got.
So for me, I think one, great casting all around. Another movie where they just completely nailed the casting. My approach to this was I was a little concerned at the beginning because you have Maverick who's working in this little, or he's operating out of this little hangar. You're like, are we gonna get a washed up guy? No, he's actually still working for the military, but doing some advanced technology, right? Okay, cool. I like that. And then you have him somehow being pushed into becoming a teacher, but he's not reluctant at the same time. It's not like a Mighty Ducks type of situation where he's forced to do it and he comes to love these guys, things like that, right? At the same time, he doesn't have to lose who he is as a character to be that teacher. He's still a flawed individual that just
he rides the highway to the danger zone.
He does. Yes. I was really trying not to be cheesy with the Kenny Loggins.
Don't. This movie knows exactly how to play the cheese.
Oh no, dude! I mean,
it knows how to play the cheese like Pacific Rim knew how to play the cheese.
Yeah, you get the orchestrated intro, and then you get Danger Zone in this movie as they're taking off of a carrier, just to let you know this is Top Gun, guys. This is just, we're in Top Gun. Let's do this, right? Okay, great. I like the story involving Bradley Bradshaw, which Rooster, which is Goose's son, all of that stuff. some of the, I mean, the callbacks were very subtle. Penny Benjamin, I really like this because in the first movie, she's kind of a passing comment in a couple scenes, and
Mhm.
that's really it. But
I was hoping Ed Harris would play her dad.
that would have
That
been
would have been
funny.
a great callback. It was like, if they weren't gonna go the romance angle and he needed a way back in, she
Yeah,
goes to her dad and it's fucking Ed Harris from the beginning of the movie.
yeah,
That'd have been great.
that would have been great. But overall, great storytelling, smooth transitions. Like you said, the flight scenes are incredible, just incredible, and a lot of that is, obviously a lot of these guys took part in scenes where they were actually on fighter jets as well as drone technology. So many things made this look good. And then you have John Hamm as the quasi bad guy, I guess. But Iceman was the quasi bad guy in the first.
But who
It's
was
not really
also
a
right. Like,
yeah,
got a point.
yeah,
Maverick did
yeah.
essentially steal an airplane, break
Oh yeah,
it
yeah,
to prove a point. You know, it's like, do you fire him or give him the job? Kind of deal. And to answer Chris's point in chat, going spoilers, they do explain why he is a captain, an Iceman, and is an admiral. I think they do it really well. He is. It's essentially. I'm a big Trekkie, so the same problem that Kirk faced. Like he got promoted out of being a captain, and it didn't work. It wasn't a fit. He got demoted because he
yeah,
did something really stupid that an admiral would never do. But a rogue captain, cowboy captain, would totally do.
yeah,
Maverick's in that kind of deal where he can't be promoted out of a cockpit because he'd have to quit. He would just fade away. He's got to stay in the cockpit, right? He's got to be the one flying and calling the shots
yeah,
in that moment. That's his character. And they did a really good job in explaining how a character like that would fit in the modern military. He doesn't. It's not working. Something's got to give, and that's the climax. Like that's the setup for the climax of this movie, and it was awesome.
And you're also the other big thing is the silent background struggle of modern technology affecting the military
Hmm.
and taking away jobs with the drones. I mean, essentially, Top Gun is going to be eventually killed off because they have, high speed flying, unmanned aerial spacecrafts, right? Whatever you want to call them. Are we calling them UFOs? Like what are we
UAVs.
calling them? UAVs? Like what? Okay. So, yeah, it's just I really liked the storytelling. I really liked how they took a story that was 40 years old, modernized it, gave you a fresh take on it, but at the same time gave you enough subtle callbacks with the backdrop of, Goose's son struggling to get along with Maverick and why that is. And that's the other thing, man. I was really kind of thinking early on, uh-oh, is it because he's holding Rooster back because of what happened to Goose? No, we find out like is that why Rooster doesn't like him? Because at first I thought it was like, oh, is it because he hates him for he thinks he killed his dad, right? Okay. Nope, it's not that. He held him back from the Navy. Oh shit. All right. So there's something deeper there. Okay, there's something even deeper than just, oh, I regret, I resent for what happened with my dad. But I really, man,
It worked.
I really enjoy. Yeah,
Without
it
bringing
worked, and
Meg
I think
Ryan back, that worked surprisingly well. And
yeah.
let's just say there's a reason she didn't come back.
Oh yeah.
We do have a viewer in chat who has not seen the movie, so I don't want to spoil everything. Because I think you're going to absolutely love the finale, even if we spoil it. It's a movie that you can't spoil because it wears its tropes on its sleeve.
Yeah, not a lot of surprises, Chris.
You know, like, but at the same time, you're still surprised because they set up the obvious so well that it works. It's like
Yeah.
watching Thor in Infinity War.
Okay.
You know, even now, knowing he's going to arrive in Wakanda, it still hits.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. You can't really, you can spoil it for the initial, but it doesn't take away from how amazing it is on repeat viewings. So like,
Yeah.
there's a lot like that in this movie where
Yeah.
it's obvious it's coming. In hindsight, clearly they were setting this up. And then when it hits, it still hits super fucking hard because the movie executes it so well. And that's Top Gun, man. This director knocked it out of the park.
Uh, they didn't need to use a misdirect for
Exactly.
surprises,
It
which
just
is it just works, which works because you're still like you said, where things are heading and what's gonna have to be done, but you still get surprised along the way and you enjoy it and executed very well. The acting's brilliant, the music is great, and man, look, say what you want about Tom Cruise, the Scientologist, but Tom Cruise, the actor, dude is just on top of his game as he's getting closer
and
to
has been
60 as
for
well.
35 years?
Yeah.
Like that's absurd. I can't think of anybody else that's been that good that long, that consistently. I mean, I don't know. Can you think of
Favorite Tom
anybody?
Cruise role. Favorite Tom
Maybe
Cruise
Tom
role.
Hanks? Maybe
No,
Hanks
Tom.
is on that level, but he doesn't do the same kind of movies, so it's hard to, you know,
No, he's not an action star. Tom
no.
Hanks tried it with the Da Vinci Code, but no, it just
Yeah,
didn't.
not his bag.
He did military very well, like Saving Private
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Ryan.
he's got that. He yeah, he can do that really well.
Yeah.
Favorite Tom Cruise movie? Favorite Tom Cruise
Oh, just
role?
roll.
His role, Ethan Hunt is such a dope fucking character. Where he's managed to like dig out actual humanity out of that just cardboard cutout kind of character that it could be, and
Yeah.
all too often is. Actually, to make that person a character from where it starts in 1 and 2 to salvage it into how good that became, let alone that it's a damn good character. But from where it started, that is some all-time character work. Straight up.
Okay.
That's great, great filmmaking right there. Across multiple directors, multiple eras of Hollywood, and it works. You gotta love it. What about you?
Favorite Tom Cruise role for me. You're probably not gonna be surprised when you think about it. Les Grossman in Tropic Thunder.
It's a great one.
I mean, he literally went full on. He told them, "I need to have bigger hands. The character won't work unless he's a schlub, a fat schlub with these big hands for no reason other than just that's just who he is."
That, and
And
I will appreciate the behind the scenes. Just fuck you to Harvey Weinstein. That role was
yeah, that's
like
essentially what that was.
that
Yeah,
was that was everybody just saying, you know what, get fucked. We can't do anything to you legally yet, but you can go ahead and fuck off.
yep, yep. Favorite Tom Cruise movie role? Like, just I mean, like him as just the
In
lead of a
his
movie.
movie, yeah,
Yeah, in his movie Ghost Protocol, Ethan Hunt is in Ghost Protocol. I
dude, it's
love that
great.
movie.
Yeah, especially when it all
I
comes out about what happened with Bridget Moynihan's character. Yeah,
Yep.
great stuff. Is it Bridget Moynihan or Michelle Moynihan? It's Michelle
I
Moynihan,
think
isn't
it's
it?
Michelle. I
Yeah,
think it's Michelle.
wrong Moynihan. But
Bridget is the one that got knocked out by Tom Brady, right? Yeah. Yep. Bridget Moynihan.
yes, there's like 3, isn't there?
No, I think that's Bridget Monahan.
Yeah, that's Monahan. There's a Moynihan.
There's 2 Moynahans I know of.
Yeah,
Yes.
Michelle and Bridget. I think it's
Yeah.
Bridget. Is it with the B? I know it's a B.
Yeah.
We'll check it later. We'll check it later, Twitter. Calm yourself. All right, so, but to round out Top Gun, so now it's cumulatively made 295 million domestic, 557 global, which means it's his highest grossing domestic, at least, movie ever in 2
Decent.
weeks. And that's counting blockbuster billion-dollar era Mission Impossible movies. Highest domestic movie of all time for Tom Cruise. For a guy that, like we've said, has been that good that long. This is the movie that brought it home. It's
Crazy
pretty,
to think that,
it's
right? At
impressive.
59 years old, it took him this long to hit his highest grossing film.
Exactly. And then we're not going to dive into this too deep because I do think it will fall apart in court. But the actual lawsuit behind the
Yeah.
scenes that just has come out over the actual rights to the original Top Gun article, which appeared in the magazine The Californian, or is it The California Man? One of the two. It was an old 80s magazine. And it was an article about, like one of those like fiction articles about Top Gun. And that got picked up by Paramount to make what would eventually turn into Top Gun the movie.
Yep.
After 35 years, rights revert to the original source author. His family is suing because in 2020, January 24th, those rights reverted because production had stopped or whatever. I think it was 35 years after the last thing was done on the project, which was 1985, was when they finished and like got Top Gun done, I believe, right? Or was it 84?
Yeah. No, it got finished in 85, released in 86.
Yeah. So it's that clock starts in once the production is done. And they actually like release time doesn't matter because obviously things get crazy with release dates and Hollywood blacklisting films and stuff. Like, so it goes on the production time, I believe. So then 35 years from then was January 24th, 2020. The movie did not come out. Now, of course, Paramount's going to say the movie was done. Like, we were just in final post-production editing. We paid for everything. Clearly, we paid Tom Cruise to be in a jet. Like, we put money in this thing, throw the lawsuit out, so it's going to fail. But it is an interesting, like, will it give a firmer timeline? will the judge take the case and then like give an actual ruling that could further, case law for Hollywood? Or do they just throw out the case? So that's an interesting thing to discuss, when you're looking at Top Gun Maverick as it continues in theaters, because there's no way they issue an injunction and actually pull it out of theaters. Not going to happen. That'd
Yeah,
be
there's
that would
yeah,
be headline breaking news. What the fuck is going on? Kind of shit.
there is option number 3 that Paramount, because of how high grossing it is at this point, may settle out with the family.
That is
That's still a
that is the
possibility.
most likely of the
Yeah,
three options,
yeah,
other than it being thrown out. Because I don't see it really being taken up. I don't see them pulling it and like letting it go to case trial.
no,
So I could see either settlement or throw it out. Those are the two most
yeah.
likely for me. But it could turn into something interesting.
It sets precedents because I think I don't you
Yeah,
have to
movie
remember.
law is kind of in the background, kind of getting an upheaval with the Paramount decision being overturned a few years ago. Of course,
Yep.
monopoly laws being overturned because of that. Like in the film industry, like gonna be a weird few years with movie. Like, do the companies get back into owning theaters? Like, but now that they have streamers, do they really need to?
Well, and then don't forget, last year we had lawsuits by a few folks on the DC side and Scarlett Johansson with Disney related to
Like, get pay
points
and yeah, and all that.
because it does a lot of people forget that that's where these big blockbuster actors, leading actors, make their money is off of the points. Like Robert Downey Jr. when the first Iron Man came out, he got less. I think it was like 1.5 million. I think he got less than Terrence Howard. Terrence
By a
Howard got like
lot.
what,
It was
like
like
4 and 5 million.
I thought he got like
I think
15 million.
was it
Because
15? I thought it was
his was not points. His was just like a salary.
yeah.
Like, you
And
just,
and
here's your money.
and Robert Downey Jr. got points on that, so he ended up making I think like somewhere like 15 million off of it. But then each subsequent film, his points had him making
Yeah,
more and
his
more. And I
Civil
think
War total was absurd.
Civil War was something like I think someone said something like 150
Yeah,
million
he
or
was
something
getting as
ridiculous.
much as like a weekend.
Yeah, and then with Infinity War, he made a huge cut of that one as well as Endgame. So he's made like I think you could say closer to 300 to 400 million dollars off of the decade of working in the MCU. Whereas like Will Smith during his big run 10 to 15 years ago in Hollywood, he had points and he made almost like $100 million off of Hancock, if you remember that movie, because of the way his points are structured. So that was a big lawsuit last year because these actors were saying, "Hey, like Scarlett Johansson, I can't get points anymore because it's based off of box office ticket sales. So
Yeah,
like whatever the global take is, that's when I get my cut." And I'm not saying she's a struggling actress out there, obviously not, but there's a big difference from a couple of million, 3 or 4 or 5 million, to making 20 to 35 million off of this film.
exactly.
Um, so
Yeah,
especially when they have to do all that press, to promote these big blockbuster
yeah, you can
films.
only
So
work on so many projects.
yep, it really like I think Elizabeth Olsen has said this recently. It does hinder them from doing the kind of the other projects that they would like to do, the
Yeah,
creative artsy projects,
that's why Chris
because
Evans,
uh,
never re-upped. Was
yeah,
at least at the end. I think he re-upped once, but
I think he re-upped
I
for
think he re-upped after
Endgame.
Avengers, and then they
Yeah,
restructured and added the one movie because they split it.
yep,
But other
yeah,
than that, yeah,
because in an interview he said that showing up on Dark World did count towards one of his
yeah,
obligations. Because he mentioned in interviews, like, yeah, that counted towards one of them. So when he re-upped to do Infinity War and Endgame, like it was yeah, they restructured to make sure he covered both films. So
yeah. But he wasn't pulling a Tom Holland in an extra 3 movies, like
no, 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 no.
because he
But
wants to go do other things.
these lawsuits are interesting because, like you said, Hollywood law is such an interesting thing because it's going to affect the
It
streaming
affects
networks as
everything. It
well.
affects SAG. It affects
Yep,
all the unions. Like,
yep,
the precedent's going to trickle out for years on a
yep.
lot of these decisions, and it'll be interesting to watch how they all kind of shake out because it didn't even really hit me until I was in my 20s. Like, man, this Paramount decision from the fucking 1940s,
Oh yeah,
it was that important. Like,
yep,
it shaped the entire landscape I grew up in. But
yep.
it didn't really take effect because of like the World War and the economic recovery and all that. It didn't really start to pick back up until Hollywood's golden age, in the late 50s, early 60s. Obviously, that turnaround time is going to be quicker now with everything, direct to release, and they own their own pipeline, like the whole nine
Yep.
yards. But it'll still be an interesting time to watch movies and just consume content because all these things are changing on the back end. And if you're plugged in, it's cool to watch. Like, to see, you can really see how the sausage gets made, and hopefully you don't dive in too much to ruin your enjoyment. That's the key trick.
perfect example, you brought it up, I think last episode, was the Mission Impossible 3, but also Mission Impossible 1. The first one is on Netflix right now. It's not on Paramount.
Yeah, three
It's
is
not.
three is
It's
not
not.
on Paramount because of the
Yeah,
bad robot deal.
the Bad Robot deal. But then one, I didn't realize there was something also affecting one because one is on Netflix.
Yeah,
It's not on Paramount. Thought
and I
that was
think that
very
was
interesting.
that a New Line? Was that New Line Cinema?
It may have been New Line without looking it up. I think
I'd have to
you're
look it up,
right.
but New Line sounds right. It sounds like a '90s. It feels like a '90s New Line movie.
So it just shows you how there's so many hands in the basket when it comes to these IPs hitting like major
Yeah,
productions like
and it
this
takes
because
years,
yeah,
potentially decades, for those deals
yeah,
to work themselves out because the back end technology behind how we consume this content has changed
yeah.
so much.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
All right, well, I think that's a good pin in our Top Gun discussion because it's time that we dig into the boys.
Oh yes, let's go.
One of the
Let's do this.
greatest superhero shows and properties I think to come into existence in this entire pop culture superhero like fandom era. Of course, back to the original run was Garth Ennis. I'm saying, yeah, it's Ennis, right?
Yeah, yep, Enos.
Who was the other one I'm thinking of? Is that the guy that did the old guard, or is that the other guy? Old
The
guard.
boys, the old
Enos,
guard.
or was that his is a G2?
Not Derek Derek Robertson's the showrunner. No, it's Derek Robertson's is the illustrator of the comic. But it was DC under Wildstorm. So um,
Greg Rucka was the old guard. It was a G.
Greg Rucka. Okay, Greg Rucka.
Wrong G author for the old guard. I apologize. Garth Ennis did the boys. And of course,
Yep.
it had a significant enough following in the original comic run. But man, once it hit Amazon and Eric Kripke, like Troma, like that kind of sensibility, got his hands on Garth Ennis, holy shit, it has exploded. Of course, season 3, episodes 1 through 3 dropped, and we get a first look at another Eric Kripke, staple, Jensen Ackles, coming in as Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Fusion, what was your first takeaway from episodes 1 through 3?
They are going balls to the wall with this season. My theory is episode 6 is a very important episode. We've talked about it many times when we've talked about the boys. If you haven't looked it up, go Google Herogasm. That's all I'm telling you to do. Go look it up. But anyway, that is going to be like their monumental episode of their series. And I think they realized they couldn't just have the rest of the season just be kind of okay, it's just chugging along to this big point in the series where everyone's expecting us to get to. So they really felt like they really had to pull the pin out and go let it just explode, and they have. Like the first episode, holy shit, the first 10 minutes of the episode. Come on, like I mean, I'm just expecting like okay, this is whoa, we're going there. Oh shit, we are going there.
Yeah, now it's after the cameo.
Yeah,
Charlize Theron? Are you shitting me?
yeah, yeah.
I did not expect that. What was the
That's what I
cameo
thought.
in the second one? There's a big cameo in
Um,
the second one too, and I was like, oh, we got him and her, or her and her. Oh God, who was it? Fuck,
uh, um,
fuck me.
I don't know. I don't know which
I'll
one.
have to rewatch it.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, first episode crazy. We're catching up on everything. Um, obviously, there's a deeper story going on here. With the is she still a senator or is she former senator now, running that division with
I think
Huey?
still a congressperson.
Still congressperson. Okay. Then you get there's just so many things about this episode that are hilarious. But then we kind of catch up on MM and all the crew, what they're all doing. And man, I will say this: Homelander is just next level WTF. Like just like they get it, but I think the thing is that he's more of a meathead in the comics. Where here, he's more of just like it's not a meathead. He's more of like a diabolical, like he's a super villain that is pretending to be a hero, and it's just unbelievable. Yeah, I really I can't wait to get to episode 6, obviously, but and then we get in episode 3 we get those snippets of Jensen Ackles as Soldier Boy, which I have a feeling when we get full on Soldier Boy in the next episode, it's going to get hilarious. I really feel that way. The deep that's it. I like, man. I give it to him for having to play such a shit character,
Hmm.
but he's become the punching bag
Yeah,
of the show, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of social commentary. I don't know if you catch it. There's a lot of social
Yeah,
commentary.
it's a little subtle. It's very behind
It's
the scenes, you know, you gotta read between the lines.
But they take jabs. They take lots of jabs at you know. Uh, what's funny is that this was filmed almost a year ago,
Yeah, it's
I
been a
think.
long time coming.
And last episode, episode three, the gun episode. Well, no, episode two, the gun episode, very poignant for what was going on the last couple of weeks. And I was
Exactly.
just like, holy shit! Like I'm sure they didn't realize like,
Oh, no way, they
oh
could have
man,
timed that.
wow, that's okay, yeah. But like their social commentary is they take jabs on the chin of everything, and I really appreciate that. Um, yeah, man, I really this is my favorite superhero show. Carl Urban is hilarious and he's fantastic in it. Jack Quaid, I like his character now because he's coming in a bit more, not bitter, but more of like jaded. And I think we're gonna get to another snapping point with him, like we did the first couple seasons. So, yeah, really enjoy it, man. Is it Antony or Anthony? Is it Anthony Starr?
I think it's Anthony.
Brilliant, man. The guy is brilliant. He's just fantastic. Um, I can't say enough about the cast. So yeah, and then Giancarlo Esposito, as always, he's just a mammoth of an actor, man. I really think that this should have been a little longer because it's what 8 episodes.
I think
It should
so.
have been a. I would this
Maybe.
this show needs
Who
to end
knows?
because it's so much. Yeah.
The last 2 seasons have been pretty fucking good. They're pretty tight.
Yeah, yeah. The good thing is they're kind of doing what the Duffer Brothers did is that we don't have to try to keep it around an
No,
hour. If we
some
have
of
to go
theirs are
under,
wildly longer
over,
than others. Yeah,
so um, yeah, good show, man. Those are my thoughts. Great, really good show. One of the best hero shows out there, but it's completely dark. It's gritty. It's raw. It's nothing. If you like the bubblegum superhero approach to your comic book stories, do not watch The Boys. If you want something completely different, more grounded, and a little more like when you really think about superheroes in general, a little more realistic, okay, this is the show for you. Yeah.
agreed. So I mean, I'm just checking a couple things on my phone. But for me, for
Okay.
the boys, yeah, like you said, that opening 15 minutes where they basically Ant-Man Thanos in a very unique way that I did not see
Yeah.
coming until it happened. I mean, the lead up's like 2 minutes, you see it coming, but like
Yeah.
I wouldn't have expected them to do that with it. And yet at the same time, I should have, you know.
Yeah,
But it
because
works.
they're in the room and he's like, "Are you ready?" And he shrinks. You're like, "Oh my god,
Oh,
they're
they're
gonna do
doing it
it.
that way.
They're doing it that way." Then it's like boom on the table. You're like, "Oh, they're doing it that way. All right, okay,
Hmm.
all right."
And again,
Oh,
I got to give a shout out to Legends of Tomorrow. They did it years ago
I know.
with Ray, the Atom. They had him get inside Rasputin's intestines and and grow, and it was amazing because the CW let them do that. But it worked super well. Of course, obviously in Legends of Tomorrow you don't see an anus, but you get the sense he's in the intestines, and it works super well. But this was extremely visceral. It is extremely in your face, and that is the show. It is visceral. It's in your face. It is loud, and it's got a point, and you are gonna fucking listen. And that's like the sensibility behind the show. It's got the perfect cast for it. Of course, Eric Kripke is the perfect showrunner slash director for that. Like he
Yeah.
absolutely nails that shit. And like Jensen Ackles for me as Soldier Boy was a great addition. I think he really gets and like really fits into this world really well as that kind of cheesy, over the top, you know, edgy Captain America kind of role. He works really well. I think he's a very underrated actor because he's been on Supernatural for so long. People have slept on how good he is. Like that dude can do comedy with the best of them. Like he's got that kind of like biting wit, and he's got great facial expressions and great timing. And he can work with any kind of thing you're gonna do. And I think hopefully this is gonna lead to him having kind of his pick of things if wants to continue to do superhero stuff or in that kind of genre, because obviously Supernatural is a genre show. Hopefully, it leads him on to bigger and better things because he's one of my favorite working actors, and his Soldier Boy's dope. Dean Winchester, yeah, like Eric Kripke era Dean Winchester plus Captain America is Soldier Boy. Because yeah, I believe that seasons 1 through 5, Dean Winchester, the one that would actually like get excited about seeing porn in a gas station. That one plus Captain America, I could see it. That meets Soldier Boy. That's why Jensen Ackles was perfect casting. The story behind him getting casting is great too, because he said, I believe he was on was it Michael Rosenbaum's podcast,
Yep.
and he was like, "Yeah, I was just called him because I knew Supernatural was ending, and I knew obviously The Boys was successful, and I was a fan, so I called him to just be like, hey, I would love to do something like just
Yep.
a part for an episode, and then he gets a call back, hey, you want to be Soldier Boy? Like,
And he's
wait, what?
what?
He's like, I read the comics, like I know Soldier
Yeah.
Boy. He's like, wait, how are you gonna work Soldier Boy into this? And he explained it was gonna be like this Captain America thing, and just immediately, boom, he's in. Like, I love shit like that. You know, because you get a showrunner like Kripke who understands his world so well, and he's like, Jensen Ackles, get him in here. Here we go.
And you know what, man? I love the fact because I listened to Rosenbaum's
Great,
podcast.
great podcast.
One of the best podcasts because he's very cordial, but he's also very like people are very real and raw. But like he basically just like the way he does his research. Jensen Ackles, he's like, yeah, I had already read the comics, you know, so I was a fan, and when they told me Soldier Boy, he's like, I knew the comic, and I'm like, okay, well, that's obviously different from what we were doing with the show. And it's like, okay, well, it's presented to me. Holy shit, yeah, that's exactly what I didn't think I would get Soldier Boy. I was just like, hey, I'll do a cameo, you know?
Yeah,
And
like be some random soup that
yeah,
gets killed or something, you know?
yeah. Obviously, he knew that they were going to do Hero Gasm in season 3, so he's like, yeah, I'd like to be a part of that
Have you seen the
episode.
interview where they get asked, like, how do you want people to react? Like, and I think his
Yeah,
question was specifically, what sound would you want people to make after seeing Hero Gasm? And he's just like, well, I would expect a lit cigarette. Like, this man gets it. This man gets it. So I'm very excited to see where they're going to go. Of course, they leave a bunch of characters in some very interesting spots in the cliffhangers for 3. You know, Annie's clearly very under the gun as Starlight now that, you know, Homelander has kind of like wormed his way back into being on top. Stan Edgar's clearly just done with this shit. Like, his opening scenes in this season are just him absolutely being like, fuck this shit. I'm done with superheroes.
yeah.
You know, like, and clearly there's an end game there with him in mind. Like, he has an end game in mind. I don't think it involves Homelander being alive.
No, because should we kind of talk a little bit about what we briefly last year talked about the spoilers
I will
of
say
the
this since
comic?
Chris is chatting. Chris, are you caught up, and or
Yeah,
are you gonna watch?
because we
Because
want to be sure.
it's a pretty brisk watch, so I wouldn't want to
Yeah.
like spoil something for you if you're gonna get caught up this week. Otherwise, we'll continue on and go on full spoilers with where we think they're going with Endgame for this season of content, and then of course we'll wrap up the show with our Netflix Geeked Week thoughts. More specifically, what Fusion thought. I didn't really watch too much of it. Plus, we got Summer Games Showcase coming up. Is it this coming Sunday?
Uh,
Yeah, it's this Sunday.
Monday.
Is the Xbox Showcase, and then they have a second one on Tuesday or something. I think
Is it Bethesda's on Tuesday?
that's Sunday. There's one on Sunday,
Sunday.
the 12th.
Okay, Bethesda's Sunday.
Okay.
Okay.
Chris says
So
go full speed ahead.
All right, so obviously they're laying the foundation of Black Noir's importance again, because if
Oh,
you
I don't
notice,
see them doing that at all. I see them doing something else.
okay, well for me,
I'll let you go.
I don't think. Well, obviously he's not a clone because we get an unmasked Black Noir in flashbacks, but I still think that Stan Edgar has something planned involving Black Noir with Homelander as the end game, and we're just reestablishing that at some point. We're gonna get more because we went from what we saw in the flashbacks, and we don't currently Noir is still in a coma, is what we're being told, and then we also have a Stormfront that committed suicide, quote unquote, committed suicide, and I think Stan Edgar's a little too smart for that. He's always calculating for the next step, and I think I think Noir and Stormfront are going to play a big role when before the season is over with. You're going to see those two again.
See,
In current, not no flashback. I'm talking about present time.
where I think they're going
All right.
is the Congresswoman.
Okay.
Edgar thinks she's going to be able to beat Homelander by a sneak attack and just basically explode him from the inside.
Yep.
Which would basically be one of the only ways to kill him.
Yeah.
But it's going to fail. Because maybe the boys kill her, maybe Homelander kills her, maybe he finds out, you know, about the relationship with Stan and kills her to get to Stan. But remember last year, the woman that can implode things
Okay.
that broke out of the mental hospital? where they were
Oh
like
yes,
experimenting,
yes.
she's still kicking.
Oh yeah, I
We
forgot
never
about
saw
that.
her. She was just
She
walking to New York in the end of season
disappeared. Yeah,
2.
yeah.
I think she's gonna circle back as the one to take down Homelander. I think that
So
was
you
a
think?
seed that got laid and is just gonna be left alone until it's time to pick it.
So you're thinking Homelander is gonna bite the bullet at the end of this
I
season?
don't know if it's this season. I think he's gonna kill this congresswoman, whatever, and the season 3 finale is gonna be Homelander like taking over the world,
Okay.
or at least threatening to, or like implied that
Kind of
that is his next thing.
like
Right?
bright, kind of a Brightburn kind of thing. Okay,
Exactly.
gotcha.
And then season 4, that's gonna come and that's gonna all come to a head. I think they're gonna be done with 4. It feels right. It feels where the story should go.
I think Homelander's fate is tied directly into his son.
And I just
Direct.
don't see them tying off the sun stuff yet. That feels like a next season thing because you could time jump it. He's a kid actor, be a little older. Like you could do more with another season with him than just a few episodes we've gotten so far.
Yeah. Which he's directly tied into Billy Butcher, which really doesn't. It doesn't feel right. It feels like there's something more that's going to happen there. Um, Man, it's interesting you bring that up. I really the Congresswoman. I think what it feels like it's just the first 3 episodes is that she was the trailer for this school, I guess, or this Riverside. She was that trailer for that, and it kind of like we just kind of just are moving on from her back to Homelander, and
Yeah, but
I
we
think
still have clearly more episodes to go,
yeah, obviously,
and the
but
boys are
but I mean,
after her because they know she's a soup now. I
sure.
think it comes to a head. They're about to kill her, and she's like, "But I'm meant to kill Homelander."
But the thing is that they're after Homelander. They believe they're all after Homelander. I think Billy Butcher is still after. I mean, I'm sorry, they're all after her. I think Billy Butcher's
And
still
that's
after
where it
Homelander.
comes. Like as soon as she says, "I'm Stan's plan to kill Homelander" or something to that effect,
Sure.
Butcher's like,
Or
"Yes,"
I'm his failsafe.
and
I'm his
then
failsafe.
nobody believes her except Butcher's like, "Well, yep, let's go kill that motherfucker."
That's how
Like,
we go into season 4.
like I think I could see that happening, and then I think they go with her and she bites the bullet. I think
Sure,
Homelander.
that's okay.
I don't think she lives through this season.
Okay. It's gonna have to be something really big for him to be able to take him out. Obviously, I think the
Exactly.
weapon, whatever this weapon is, it's obviously gonna be a waste of time, and it's really just a trailer for us to see Soldier Boy.
It's a
That's
reason to
really
get
what the
Soldier Boy back in the game.
yeah, exactly. So,
Yeah. I'm curious to
and
see how he's going to play in. Like, are we going to really get time with Soldier Boy, like, readjusting to today? Like, he's been missing since the late 70s or early 80s. It was
and it's
Iran
funny,
Contra.
and it's a good point because with Captain America in the MCU, it was a smooth transition for that guy. What if it's not for Soldier Boy? Like, what
That's
if
why I
the
think they're going
dude's
to play
like,
it. Because they're going to play, I think, a
like
lot like the comics, where it was a lot of, like, because he woke up. Because they started with the whole frozen soldier thing in Vietnam, right? That was when
yep.
it happened. So I think they're going to do something like that, where he's going to, like, actually deal with coming back to life in a way that really the Marvel MCU version didn't. He better get a cult in this. I'm just saying, Kripke would be an idiot not to do that. You got to give us supernatural fans something. Give us a cult.
We're gonna get something.
It doesn't
We're
have to
gonna get
be
something.
like a cult from the show. Like it could just be an actual cult for it, like a modern Colt 45. But it needs to have a cult, and he needs to drive an Impala. Have it be a new
It,
Impala, and he's like, "What the fuck is this shit?"
or he
That would
steals,
be amazing. Where he's like, "This
or
is a
he
pussy
gets
car,"
out and he steals one, and he's like, "What the fuck is
and he
this?"
sees
Yeah,
this old '60s car, and he's like, "I want," and he takes, and it's a '66 Impala. Fuck
that
yeah,
would be kind of funny.
hell yeah.
Um, there's so much that can happen in the next 5 episodes, man. It's really, and the good thing is that they don't make things go really fast. They tell like they stretch it out, then all of a sudden we have your payoff at the very end, and at rapid pace, at light speed. It's not like that with the boys. So and the good thing is we're gonna obviously get another season, maybe even two. I think we get 5 at the most. I think 5. I don't think 4 would be the last season. I think we get 5.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't think
4
it
can do
lends itself. It depends on where they leave Homelander. I just don't
yeah.
see two more stories, two more seasons of story with him. I see the full turn to become the bad guy, and then the
Right.
climax where he wins or loses.
Well, next season could be about a lot of side stories of him. Like, he's obviously going to try to take over the world, so he's putting in he soups in different places of the world to kind of control things for him and the boys and their task force, along with Vought. I think they're going to team up with Vought at the end of the season, um, go out there to try to clean things up before we get to the final payoff. Which and that all could still happen in season in a fourth and final season. But I think Amazon will try to get 2 seasons
Can
out of
you
it.
imagine? So it is his daughter that dies, like his pseudo daughter that dies.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
pissed off Stan Edgar teaming up with Billy Butcher. Like, this motherfucker killed my daughter.
yep,
Killed your wife. He's gonna die.
yeah.
Like, fuck. Yes. That'd be a great moment. Like, everything's gone to shit. She's dead. They think Homelander can't be stopped. They're completely just despondent. Who walks in through the door? Stan Edgar. And he's got a plan. That'd be a hell of a way to cap season 3. That would get people hyped for season 4.
That'd be a good one,
That'd
man.
be pretty dope.
Good stuff. Good show. Good show.
Speaking of shows, though, Netflix also dropped a bunch of trailers for Geeked Week
Yep.
that I think was mostly this week. I don't know if it lasted the whole week or if it was just a single day thing and they called it a week. I didn't watch it, but Fusion watched some of it. What caught your eye?
Well, today, June 6th, was about series. Tomorrow is going to be about movies. Wednesday, animation. Thursday, Stranger Things. And then Friday is going to be games, which Netflix games. Okay, whatever. We caught up a little bit on part 2 of Stranger Things, but the big thing for me is we got, I guess you can call it a trailer, but it's really short, for Sandman, Neil Gaiman's live action adaptation. And I was so happy that we decided we're going with a show, not a movie, for Sandman, because this is a expansive story. If you've never read the DC Vertigo story of Sandman by Neil Gaiman, one of my favorite authors, by the way. American Gods is a great novel. He wrote some of the best comics out there. Basically, when Alan Moore was kind of like wrapping up his cycle of like his time in the comic book industry, he kind of became friends with Neil Gaiman, and then he kind of rubbed off on him, and Gaiman kind of took over where Alan Moore left off on a lot of the stories. But um, Sandman is one of the best stories out there. I am going to be a little sad because I know the internet's going to blow up because the main character is his name is Dream, but he also goes by Morpheus. Morpheus. I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of people that aren't understanding of the IP are going to tweet out, "Oh, I didn't know this was a Matrix, or this isn't the Matrix." Like, we're going to get that kind of stuff, and it's going to be kind of annoying. But really happy to see the trailer. Beautiful movie. The TV show looks great. Obviously, they really nailed like the character, Dream's character hopping in and out of realities. It looks really good, and I'm really excited for that one. Stranger Things, obviously, we talked about it in the solo episode last time. I can't wait for the final 2 episodes. I'm sure this thing's gonna get crazy. It has to get crazy. There's so many things, like loose ends to tie up there. But that's really all I caught. I didn't dig in too much just because, like, I don't really want to get in because we've talked about Netflix. I think they're really pushing now to kind of put their imprint back on the streaming services because they're taking a big hit. Their market cap is down 3/4. They've lost a lot of IPs. They moved up uh, Cobra Kai's next season to September instead of December. Like, they're really. I'll give them credit though. Now that I say it out loud, I'll give them credit for trying to make an effort with their audience because for a while there it was just like, hey, we're Netflix, we're gonna just keep skating by and skating by. But now they really have to go out there and be proactive in their marketing and distribution. So yeah, man, I saw a little bit of it. I didn't see all of it, but I did see the Sandman trailer, so I was super stoked about that.
All right. I'll have to check that out. Chris in chat wants to know what your thoughts on Joanna Constantine is.
Jenna Coleman, great casting. I liked her. I thought she had great presence. And just remember this: we're talking about like what, like a minute and a half, 90-second trailer. I thought she looked very like great presence on camera. So I thought that was a good casting. Wasn't I know some people weren't big fans of her, but I thought she looked fine in what little time I saw. But I'm sure because they're going to release it in August, I'm sure later this month or maybe in early July, we're going to get a full 2-minute trailer.
Oh, agreed. That's a necessity.
Yeah.
I'm just a big sucker for Matt Ryan's Constantine. It's
I
really
know,
good.
and I
But
know.
it's, different across every, iteration, and it's totally fine. Gaiman's iteration was a lot different than what would become Hellblazer, and all those other comics down the road. So
Yep. Garth, and speaking of kind of full circle there, Garth Ennis had one of the best runs. That's where we got Hellblazers. Like that's where we got really John Constantine, the Hellblazer, was through Garth Ennis. But he came in after Neil Gaiman had his run. So yeah.
like I can't believe there hasn't been a Hellblazer movie, like a real one, like a good one. You
Well,
know,
hold
like we
on,
got
Constantine's
Constantine.
not a
No,
bad
no, don't
movie.
get me wrong. I'm talking like a full-on adaptation of Hellblazer.
A true adaptation. Yeah,
Like
I think
of
you
all
should.
the ones
I
that
think
could work, because it'd be cheap, and clearly it's that's kind of in Hollywood right now. It's like just do it.
well,
Get
just like
multiverse it and get Keanu back.
well,
Him and
he
Matt
says he wants.
Ryan. Are you
He
kidding
says
me?
he
Him and
wants.
Matt Ryan as dueling Constantines would be phenomenal.
Like, so you're from L.A. and you're
Throw in
from.
Tom Ellis's Lucifer just for the shits and giggles of it. Bring
And
it
it could be
on.
his. It could be his doing, putting them together. Just
Something
like
like that. Just some dumb shenanigans. Like, let's go. Tell a cool story about magic in the DC universe. That's what I want. Make it happen. You got close with Shazam. Like the seeds were there.
yeah.
Put it all out there, man. Get Satana in there. Have
Well,
some
they're
fun with
talking
it.
about doing. They were going to do a Zatanna movie for HBO Max. Now that's been put on hold. But
Dude,
yeah,
it's like a Zatanna, like a magic type show on HBO Max. Like a Zatanna Constantine, like, buddy comedy show would be dope. I'd watch the
well,
shit out of that.
for a while there, they were really trying to push to do a Justice League Dark movie, not a series, a movie. And I was like, that
The animated one was pretty
no,
solid.
the added animation's great, but these are characters like the common moviegoer doesn't know most of those characters.
Exactly.
So
You have way more buy-in with the animated projects because nerds are already watching them.
and the fan base is the majority
Yeah,
of
the
the people.
hardcores will watch it.
Yeah. So a movie, you're like, who is this Nightshade character? Like, what are we doing here? Yeah. So I get what you're saying. We do. I always felt like Constantine should have been an HBO Max show, just like Swamp Thing. It's unfortunate Swamp Thing got moved over while they're three-quarters of the way of production of the first season, and then it just got scrapped. Like, had it been on HBO Max from the start, it probably would have been a much better show. Honestly.
Agreed.
I think Constantine is Hellblazer should be a show on HBO Max. It just feels like that dark rated R content that they could put on there, like they did with Watchmen. The Watchmen series.
It feels
Um,
like it in that spirit, in that vein. Yeah, it could definitely be that kind of show.
yeah, and they could do 3 seasons of it, or try to do 3 seasons of it, and get some really interesting stories out of it.
Yeah. A Justice League Dark anthology series would be dope too, like Constantine, Zatanna, Etrigan, the
Yep.
Swamp Thing. Like,
Swamp Thing. Yep.
right, that'd be dope. Tell a
Like,
flashback story with like the Shadow or something.
yeah.
Like, come on, let's go. That'd be great.
There's so many things they could. There's so many cool stories they could do, and they don't have to be like flagships because they
No,
just have.
just
DC
look at
has
look at what
some
Peacemaker
really
did.
exactly. DC has really good secondary characters to tell
Like their
stories.
roster of characters is fucking deep.
Yeah.
Like they got a lot of because they're all archetypes.
Yeah.
Like that's the best thing
Exactly.
about DC is like their characters are bold.
Mhm.
Like obviously they're flawed and whatever, like people are, but like that was Marvel's bag, right? Marvel's whole thing was they did a lot of team stuff too.
Team stuff. Yep.
Whereas DC, at least for a long time, they're like Silver Age comics that most people think of as like the precursor to today's comic book mediums. The Silver Age was a lot of solo stuff, right? Like you had Captain Atom getting a run, you had like the Atom getting a run, you had fucking like that was that would have been Grifter was what group of is it Hellstorm
Oh,
comics?
the Wildcats.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that iteration gets bought in. Like that all came in then. Crisis
Yeah.
on Infinite Earths, right? Like that was the Silver Age of comics, and they got a lot of awesome archetype characters, and a couple of team up stuff, like of course Green Arrow and Green Lantern, right? Like the whole Red Arrow is, oh, Speedy's a druggie, like social commentary stuff.
It was heroin. He was hooked on heroin.
He was hooked on heroin, and that was a big deal for comics at the time with the comics code of like and all that stuff that people
Oh, yeah.
didn't do that kind of thing.
Late 80s. Hell yeah.
DC did, and that was impressive. And like they need to lean into how good that shit was.
Yeah.
They kind of do with some of their animated properties, like Batman: Brave and the Bold. Straight up ripping out of that shit all the time. Harley
Yeah.
Quinn does a lot of that too, but the mainline properties could use a major infusion of Silver Age stuff, especially Superman. Silver Age Superman is Though some newer iterations are pretty good, like Super Dad, the Peter Tomasi stuff, very, very good. But Silver Age Superman is the best. Hopefully we get back there with Henry fucking Cavill.
Yes.
That
Please.
needs to happen. He is the perfect Silver Age Superman. Let him actually be it. Good God.
Someone at Warner Brothers pitched the idea of redoing it with Cavill because they're like, he is.
They must have heard my pitch about
Right?
rebooting their universe with a What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, in America Superman with Henry Cavill. That would be incredible. You have the Justice League take the part of the Superbots / Kryptonian tech to like solve the problem of Manchester Black and the Elite, and bam, you got a hell of a movie with a great Superman. With one of the greatest comic book climaxes in existence. Superman talking down his bad guy. And talking to the audience. That is what Superman can do better than any character. Lean into that. Lean into it. That's what DC needs to do. They're almost there. Clearly, some people get it behind the scenes because Peacemaker happened.
Obviously.
But they need to get it all the way there. And it'd be real great. All right, well, it's been about an hour and some change. We've talked a lot of stuff. We've talked whether or not it was Morbin Time. We've talked Top Gun Maverick. We've talked The Boys Season 3, Episodes 1 through 3. And a little Netflix, Geeked Week. And, of course, we went on a DC tangent because, of course, we did.
That's what we do.
It's what we do. So that's going to wrap it up here for episode 44. Coming up this month, of course, we have Miss Marvel. We've got the Umbrella Academy Season 3. We're gearing up for Thor, Love and Thunder. A whole smattering of nerdy goodness. We've got the Xbox Summer Showcase. There's a bunch of gaming stuff coming out this month, too. So it's going to be a damn good time to be a nerd. And later this month, it's starting to take shape on our end. We're going to sit down with Crofteria, maybe Jackie, Geeky Fried Rice, and we're going to rank them Dragon Age characters live here on twitch.tv/MrWartburg. I'm very excited about this podcast. It's going to be a great time.
It's going to be fun.
And I'm also working behind the scenes to get a little Mission Impossible series thrown together. A little 2-part podcast where we rank all the Mission Impossible movies with someone who's never seen a single one. That'd be Mr. Dennis Fant, if he has seen this. And or if I clip this out and send this to him. This is me initially saying, hey, my behind the scenes thing is me telling this to you right now. Do you want to do a podcast where we watch episodes 1 through 6, or movies 1 through 6 of Mission Impossible? Do one podcast to rank and review them. And then one podcast with the new one next summer to add it into the ranking for 7. I'm just saying, I think it'd be a great time. Fun time watching movies with friends and talking about movies with friends. Let me know. Okay? I'm going to actually DM this to you. I'm going to clip it out and send it to you. Okay. We're going to wrap it here. I'm at Mr. Wartburg. He is at It's Mr. Fusion. And we are the Wartburg and Fusion Entertainment Review. Thank you for listening. Drop a like, subscribe, comment, review, whatever the platform you're listening on can actually let you do, like Spotify has the ratings. You can drop a like and a comment on YouTube to help the algorithm, or you can do any number of things on any number of services. So let us know. Especially ratings and reviews. Those help way more than you think and actually grow things.
Oh, yeah.
So be on the lookout for future content. We're going to transition here since we're live. We're going to play a little Apex to cap things off for our Monday night. We're going to do a little multiplayer Monday action for you. Maybe we'll even find a third. Who knows? We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll catch you for episode 45.